How we?
Yeah, let me prepare the notes really quickly, and then I can maybe share.
Mm-hmm.
I have one or two discussion topics.
Yeah. By the way, I've set up that meeting that starts recording right away, because I'm not sure if I can always get in on time. So I hope that's all right for you. If it's not, we can tune it and to be like,
yeah, sure,
delayed. But then if we have some things that we don't want to have into the recording in the very beginning, I can edit that through in the recording, and then we can get it online. So, yep. All right.
I think that's okay.
All right.
Cool. Let me try and share my screen somehow. Share screen. Can you see my screen with the notes on it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So we have the wiki and the Harbor Operator wiki with the meeting notes. I didn't take them last time here when me and Thomas were talking, but today you can add yourself in the notes and also add topics if you want. I have two topics from my side, which we can discuss, and I don't know if you have separate topics you want to talk about. The first topic is testing day 2 implementation. So there was a pull request recently. If you check here, that is called implementing Harbor project day 2 configuration. It's a pull request that was reviewed by Thomas and me pretty extensively, and there was a lot of back and forth about it. It implements essentially parts of the or improvements to the CID, where you can configure projects, Harbor projects with the operator. So there's some day 2 configuration happening and management happening. This appears to be working, but there's no automated test for this. The problem we have right now is that there are end-to-end tests in Harbor Operator, but there are no end-to-end tests right now, which essentially test this kind of capability, and we need to add some. And this is something we agreed in the pull request to do in a follow-up, because we have tests, if I go here, that, yeah, it's hard to show because they're all in a single file, but we have tests that do like API DB tests, so something like this, but we don't have tests that test against the Harbor API more and would check for projects and so on. So this is a task that is open. And if someone has experience in this or knows how they should be added or has an idea how this should work, I'm very open for suggestions on Slack or a thread on Slack on how this is supposed to be implemented. Because right now, all we run in the end-to-end tests for Harbor Operator is basically this API DB test script. And before that, like some very basic logic checking if the Kubernetes components are running correctly. And we would need something that actually goes against the Harbor API that's spun up a bit more and checks if the day 2 configuration is correct. So that's one topic. Kind of like open here. If you have ideas how this should be done, please speak up in Slack or in any kind of issue around this. And the second point I have is board cleanup. Since there's more people here now, I also wanted to show this. I have cleaned up the boards, so I transitioned them from legacy boards to new boards. So now there's a releases board, and there were meeting notes in draft issues. I have left them there because I don't know if they're useful to anyone. I don't know why they were written here, but they are still here. And I have separated out issues into high priority for 1.4 and old backlogs. So these are issues that are very old, like from 2022, middle of 2022. And some of them I asked for clarification if they're still relevant, because lots of them are bumping different versions which already have been bumped, but we are not getting much traction from the former contributors if that's still necessary or checking if that's done. Another one is this one, support harbor 2.6. This should also be done. And I've asked for clarification, like Thomas did here, if this is finished, but in our opinion, it should be done. So if you have time, please take a look at this board. Also take a look at the old issues and check which ones are stale, or just forward someone that knows what to do with these issues, because people are not really responding on them. And then in the high priority backlog, it's essentially issues which we need to resolve for the release of 1.4. And that's the 2.6 release should be done, but needs to be verified. We still have an issue that the Helm chart size is too big. Right now, we simply remove the CID from the Helm chart, but there needs to be more work here to figure out how do we do this nicely. There's a longer discussion in Slack also you can look up, but right now we just kind of removed the CID from the Helm chart and have linked here how other projects dealt with this. So for example, Azure Service Operator, they decided to install the CID during operator runtime. And this is something we need to then consider. And then we updated the controller runtime version, and it's not clear, like from the end-to-end test, this has not caused any issues, but the bump was quite major. So anyone with a testing environment, I think, Thomas, you wanted to check anyway the operator in your testing environment at some point. We need to just get some verifications if there are new problems you see in your testing environments. And then finally, what I talked about, the day 2 operations. These are kind of the topics I wanted to talk about and show what we've been doing. And maybe you can give me some insight on what else is going on.
Yeah, hi, thank you. I have one problem I want to discuss with you that I already communicate with you in the Slack channel, and I want to enable that we have at least 2 approvals for PR review. Yeah. Because that we right now I and Chen wanted to contribute more effort on the harbor operator so that we can have 4 maintenance right now. So yeah. So, I actually I have went through the day 2 configuration pull request, and I had some comments on that spot, but yeah, I saw that I had already merged into the main branch. Yeah. But my suggestion here that we can enable back to 2 approvals for PR review. And
yeah, that's fine. I already commented on this pull request. This needs to happen through the settings. So through the settings up here, I do not have permissions to change this, as you can see. I think Olin, you changed it to 1 initially. If you can just change it back to 2 in the settings, that's fine. And in this pull request, I posted an explanation why this number needs to remain at 1, because the auto assignees is only about who gets assigned to the pull request. And there's 2 groups here. And 1 just means it chooses one of the top group and one of the bottom group.
Okay.
Whereas 2 here would mean it would choose 4 people. So 2 from the top group, 2 from the bottom group. So this number needs to remain at 1, but in the settings it needs to be changed. So in the settings here, it needs to be changed to 2 again.
Yeah, I have the permission to change that, but before I do this, I want to get confirmation from your side.
Yeah, so it's fine for me to change it back. If you're going to be more active, that's fine. Because also when this pull request was merged, right, this was March 28th. So then on March 28th, I made a post that we will review soon, and I tried to get some insights from people, but no one responded for like, all of March, all of April, and then, we started to just work on it.
I understand. Yeah.
So because also this was a community thing, right? This person is not related to any company of ours. And I didn't want to, because the pull request is quite large and he spent
Yes.
quite a lot of effort. If you still have comments, please leave the comments still on this closed pull request.
Maybe I can through the pull request to update something.
Yeah, just leave comments on the pull request and then maybe it can be fixed in a follow-up or work on follow-up.
Yeah, sure.
So Jan, you gonna
Uh-huh.
change that back, or should I change it back to 2?
I suggest that one can change it back to 2.
No, I mean, are you gonna do it, or I can do it? It's super easy. And
yeah, I can do that. I can do
okay.
this.
And second thing,
Okay.
Marcel, can you add me to one of these lists, please?
Yes, sure.
To
I will make a pull
in
request.
the auto assignees.
Yeah.
That will allow me to follow up a bit more closely what's going on, and maybe I can help out as well.
Yeah, I will make a note, so I do that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have another point want to mention is that currently the harbor operator cannot work on the latest Kubernetes version because the Redis of the because this project we relies on the Postgres operator and the Redis operator, and these two operators, some CRDs or APIs in these operators were deprecated in the since the 25.
Yeah.
So if we follow the documentation to install the harbor operator on the latest Kubernetes, these components cannot be ready because they can't stand up because these CRDs will be removed by Kubernetes.
Yeah.
So we may we may need to upgrade these operators version, I think.
Yeah, so let me quickly respond to this. So first of all, we did some work, or some work was done recently to make this a bit more possible. So the dependencies of the operator itself are upgraded now, that at least that should work. There's a problem with what you're suggesting. So if you look in the make file, I think I will find the versions here quite easily, I think. We essentially have a issue with upgrading the Postgres operator. So we already run the Zalando Postgres operator in version 1.7.0 now. If you check the pull request where this was done, we had to, this was done by a team at Giant Swarm at the time. Here. There's an issue with this entire thing. So when we upgraded the versions of this Zalando Postgres operator, it also upgrades the Redis, which I already upgraded to like a minimal usable version, and some parameters are gone. But the main thing that all of this causes is, and I need to search for the pull request, it upgrades some versions of Spilo or Spilio or however it's called. And those versions are not upgrade compatible. So we can't jump multiple versions of them. Let me try and find the pull request if I can find it really quickly, or it might take me a bit longer. But essentially, we are now in a version where we can upgrade from Harbor Operator 1.3. If we release 1.4, then we are fine. But if we upgrade the versions further, we won't be able to upgrade Harbor Operator from an older version to the new version. Does that kind of make sense? I don't know if it did. Let me look at the pull request in the meantime.
I also remember we have some GitHub action to test different metric, different Kubernetes version.
Yes. But the main point is that if you want to support a newer version of the Zalando Postgres operator, you will break the upgrade chain. You will not be able to upgrade from an older version of Harbor operator to the new version, because you need to take a step in the middle, basically.
Because of
Yeah,
Spilo, right?
Yeah, because of Spilo. So because the Spilo version does not allow you to jump version upgrades. And it breaks the Postgres database then. I can't find the pull request right now. Let me. Somewhere I have a pull request where I changed the Spilo version.
Can you find the documentation about the update process of Spilo?
Yes, I will. I can provide this in a follow-up and ping you if that is helpful. The main
Yes, please.
thing,
Yep.
the main thing was that I was told this can't work.
So for the 1.4 release, what Kubernetes version do we want to support?
We can try and check. I have no opinion on that.
Should we absolutely support the last one, or the 1.26 is enough? So
I think it sounds like we can't even support 1.25 with the version of.
Yeah, I think in the README we recorded the supported versions of Kubernetes.
Yeah.
In the last year, it should be three or four versions. I don't remember clearly.
3, I think.
Yeah. I will look up where exactly the Spilo version is, and I can't find it in the pull request right now. And I will post this on Slack and ping you, so you are able to see what the issue exactly is. But we spent a lot of time even upgrading the Spilo version once, but we were unable to do it any further.
Okay.
I've found it, I think. Let me show you. So this is the pull request from a coworker at the time. And it updates the Spilo version and tag from something to something else and upgrades the Postgres operator from 1.6.3 to 1.7. And in here, in this pull request, we initially tried to upgrade it further, but we were told that Spilo doesn't support upgrading from 12 to 14 in place. And then we did some research, and the upgrade path is from Spilo 12.1.6 PS3 to 14.2.1. And this is basically an upgrade from Postgres 12 to 13, and then we can upgrade to Postgres 14. And what if we wanted to go with the latest version, so from Postgres 12 to 14, this wouldn't be possible. So we need 1.4 release of Harbor operator to be in a version of Postgres 13 to be able to upgrade.
So it means that you have to gracefully upgrade the Postgres for just one version, so you can jump from 12 to 14, right?
Yeah, so we need to upgrade gracefully from 12 to 13 to then jump to 14.
Okay.
I will post this in the.
I'm not okay. I didn't know that the Postgres version was linked to the Spilo version, because when you create a
Yeah,
a
there's many
Postgres,
things. There's many things I didn't also know, but it
Yeah,
seems that way.
when
You-
you
you-
create a
you-
custom resource of Postgres, you can specify the version. So maybe we can set and fix the version, and we will not have the problem. I don't know. We must check.
I think Spilo lists supported versions.
Yeah, probably.
So if you go through the releases, you can see down here somewhere it lists supported versions, and it also lists
Because I think it's retro compatible, but
so the jump was. I'm happy if you check this again, and I'm even more happy if it just works. But this is what
Yeah.
was posted in this.
because on our side we are using our own Postgres operator from Zalando, but not the
Yeah.
one in the Arbor operator. And we
Yeah.
use it for 1 year now, and we fixed the version 14 of Postgres, and we upgraded Postgres operator and Spilo version several times, and it
Okay.
didn't change. So maybe we can do something about that.
Yeah, maybe that's possible then. So this is basically PostgreSQL 12. I'm not entirely certain. These
It
are
had
the
new
logs.
version, but maybe it's retro compatible with older version. We need to check.
Yeah, so here they only state they removed 9.3 and 9.4.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. So it supports 3 or 5 or 4 versions in parallel, I think, for each
Okay.
Spilo version.
I will post this in Slack, and we can have another discussion there if it's possible to upgrade further. But this is why we didn't go to the latest Kubernetes version right away, but instead
Okay.
stayed there. Anything else to talk about?
Yeah, last week I tested the master branch on my dev environment to try and test the 2.6 Arbor from the operator. And I played with it, and everything looked to work. The only issue I had is the one that I put on Slack about the GHCR Docker images that were absent for no reason. But else everything was working. I didn't test the day 2 configuration for now, but the main operator with all the dependencies, the min.io, the PG, and the Redis are working.
Okay, that's nice. That's very good. Maybe Orlin or someone else, do you know why certain images from Arbor are not pushed to GHCR? I did a look at the code, and they should all be there, but it's pretty clear that the GitHub container registry does not contain all images for the versions that are expected of Arbor. So the Arbor components are not pushed to the GitHub container registry for some reason.
Are these some old versions?
So
or
yeah, which version do you mean that you cannot pull them from Docker Harbor?
2.6. It's in the Harbor
2.6
operator.
Not all the images. 2.6.3 and 2.6.4 are not present in the GHCR, but are on Docker Hub. And I think the 2.8 is on GHCR, but not the 2.7.0. So that's weird.
So,
some
well, yeah,
are and some are not.
So we actually use the Docker Hub as a primary public repository to hold all the Harbor public images, and for the GCR, we use it as alternative, because that sometimes maybe the hub may have a limitation for public repository. As I recall correctly, they announce something but withdraw their announcement. Yeah, but we still currently we still leverage the Doc Hub as the primary repository for Harbor images. So we do not have a plan to maintain two public repositories for Harbor images. So I'm not sure what's the problem here. So you mean that you cannot pull anything from Doc Hub, or you would like to pull something from GHCR?
Well, in the Harbor operator, we have some default manifest to deploy Harbor, and it's configured to use the GHCR repository. So maybe if it's not the main one, we should modify this. There is a link just behind on the manifests.
Yeah, because the default manifests in Harbor operator have GHCR hard-coded.
Yeah,
And
here is actually it's a history problem. In the previous we when we use Docker Hub, the Hub operator installation will meet the issue of rate limit. So then Ziming changed it to the GHCR, and I remember he replicated this image from Doc Hub to GHCR by Harbor. Yeah, so it's a manually operation, no automatic.
Okay,
that's why, yeah, that's why currently there is only a 2.6 and no newer version, because we did it manually in before.
Okay, but there is some stuff in CI and Harbor to push to GHCR now. So much newer images should also be there. So there is some, if you go to the logic.
Yeah, we enable that.
Yeah, okay.
But
so some versions in between are just
yes.
missing, is what you're saying.
Yeah, but we can replicate the missing one to the GHCR if it is required by the Harbor operator. So just you can just let me know the tag, so then I can try to replicate them to the GHCR.
Okay, I will ping you on the thread because it should be .6.4, right?
Yeah, and 2.6.3, I think.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to bump it in the manifest.
Okay, cool. Is there anything else to talk about? I created a new Slack thread on the Spilo config in Harbor operator dev. And we know what to do, roughly.
Yeah, so is it the only subject we want to address for to release the 1.4, or is it anything else?
I think the CRD issue is also still to be addressed. And the testing stuff. Otherwise, I think it's roughly the only thing that's remaining.
We want the end-to-end test for day 2 are required too.
Yeah. So
okay.
So do we have a summer environment to testing the day 2 comparison?
No.
So maybe we can, hi Oli, maybe we can set up some testing environment with the CNCF cluster but I'm not sure how many quota we have for this.
We can check that. we have to define first what we need.
Yes.
And
Um,
I think we have resources for now. The thing is, resources at the Equinix are super expensive in general because they're like a bare metal machines. So maybe we can think of something else. I mean, for example, we can kick off one of the accounts for AWS. Do we have like an issue where we discuss the test cases and what kind of approach we want to have for the test cases?
Right now, there's only an issue that I have created for like we need them, but not what exactly we need to do. And I'm not sure if we need an environment necessarily for it, because why can we not just test it in CI, right? So right now we run these tests in CI, and we could just add another CI test that is an end-to-end test and check some functionality.
In the CI, we are spinning up for
Yeah.
environment, and then, or I'm not sure. I haven't checked the CI, but
Yeah. So the first thing in CI I want to do, and I might do this still today, it's going to be a bigger pull request. I want to split up this file.
yeah,
Because it has 800 lines. Every single test is in the same file. It's really hard to find anything. So I want to split this up into multiple files and clean it up a little bit. And then we can talk about adding a new test here.
Yeah. A little bit
Because
more.
right now it's,
yep.
Yeah.
Yes, if we want to leverage the CI Git action, I think we should revise the testing section to make it cover all the day 2 configurations, because that so probably we can add a new issue for this to revise the testing.
Yeah. I think there are already issues for this, but I can, like, I would just create a pull request to split this up first. So we have multiple files, and then we can iterate, because right now, if you do bigger changes, no one can read the diff because it's such a big file, just like, and we also do some strange stuff. So we have multiple times the Kubernetes versions defined in the same file at multiple different points. So it's really hard to work on it right now.
I think I can help with that. Can you ping me in that PR so I can review, maybe suggest some stuff?
I will ping you in the PR that I create.
I haven't checked the CI yet, but is it to set up a Kubernetes cluster firstly, then install hardware with the operator, and last run some tests against the hardware instance?
There are like 6 different tests right now, and they're like split half and half on what they do. What they generally do is they spin up a machine and GitHub Actions. They install kind, so Kubernetes and Docker. So you have a Kubernetes cluster. Then they install the manifests in different ways for Harbor operators. So some of them install the Harbor operator chart. Other ones install it with Customize. So that's kind of split half and half to test both installation ways. And then it creates a Harbor operator CR, which is created from customized resources. So it does like a customized build of some CRs. It applies that, it waits for Harbor operator and the databases to be up. And then it runs a script, which is called API DB test. This is the one I meant earlier. And that script is, I'm going to be honest, I don't quite understand what the script does. Okay.
Okay. But if we want to hire the coverage, I mean, to cover the day 2 configuration, they should in the CI, I mean the Git action, it should be make the PR longer than the current to finish the all the testing.
I'm not sure, because okay, let me show you. Like right now, the longest runtime is this API DB test of the test. So the tests run pretty long, but the
Yes.
most thing they do is like run this thing, the singular file, which is called, and I found it before. Let me show you what this file does. Maybe you know what it's supposed to do. So this is the file. It's called API DB _ test.sh. And it runs some stuff. Like it's just like a shell file that spins up some Docker run. And this Docker run somehow uses a drone image and then runs make Swagger client. And I don't know what any of this, I don't know what any of this does.
It's actually predefined some end-to-end test cases. And we actually did this for in the OSS repository. We set up several pipelines, and the DB is one of them. We actually run all the tasks in our nightly testing, and so that's why I suggest that we can have some environment to run this task in that environment, and we can just run some sanity test in the CR. So then we can have two kernel level for testing. One is sanity test in CR, and the second tier is the end-to-end test that defined in the DB test suite. Maybe we can expand the pipeline to some to introduce other pipelines from OSS to ensure the quality of harbor operator. So that's why
this is completely fine with me. Like I'm happy to do this. I just don't know, right? I came to this project.
Okay. Maybe all the DB pipeline should be finished in 1.5 hours. So
okay. But this is right now also the case. So if you look how long this takes, it takes around 47 minutes in CI. So between 40 and sometimes 1 hour, it takes long. But usually it's done around 30 to 40 minutes. And it runs this script in CI. So on this GitHub action.
Yeah, these are just the predefined test cases in So if it's the 45 minutes is acceptable, so then we can keep the current behavior. So if it is not, we can separate the testing from a PR and set up environment to run this task in.
I think right now it's fine. I mean, it's long, but it's fine. And if we can just add the day 2 testing somehow to this.
Yeah, sure.
And we should be okay. Or does anyone else disagree?
I'm fine with that, but just a suggestion for you.
Yes.
So can you just let me know the focus of the day 2 configuration? I mean the testing focus. So then let's try to find the gap between the current and
like the day 2 stuff is like completely newly added, right? So the focus would just be figuring out if it works, like basically create a project, like a Harbor project, and then see if it is actually in the Harbor API. So basically the test would basically create the correct CRs to create a Harbor project and then do an API call to Harbor to check if the project is available.
is it possible that you can summarize something in the Slack channel so then I can let me find some help from the team if someone can help me to provide some existing API test or things like that. Yeah. So
Okay, I will do.
Yeah.
I'm writing some notes for myself so I don't forget. Okay. There's nothing else. I would say we're kind of done for today.
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm just wanna leverage more effort to test the day 2 configuration. So then if you can summarize something for me, then I can find some help from team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
So yeah. So let's work together to make this happen. So then we can have another release to based on Harbor 2.6. So I'm very appreciate that you can help us to make this
Yeah.
happen. So yeah, this is a long story that we do not have enough effort to maintain this repository, and actually we have a lot of customers from community who is asking us to ship a new release on with Harbor operator. So we have a lot of customer is waiting for this.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm so appreciate for this. Yeah, thank you for your help.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, then let's keep it like this. We finish up these things to get
Yep.
1.4 out, and then we go
Yeah.
from there. Thomas, you also look at the Spilo thing again, since it seems like you have more experience than me, at least.
Yes, I'll check.
With this. Just for reference, like when we were working on the Spilo upgrade, we had some consultants from outside our company also help us with this to get into it. And they did most of the work on checking the Spilo versions and so on. So I can't fall back to them and ask them exactly what they looked at. But I trust them that they looked at reasonable stuff. But if you can check again and see if it is true that we can't upgrade them, that would be great.
And so anything you need my help or Chenyu's help, just ping me or Chenyu directly in the Slack channel. So then because that we want to we will have some contribution for this repository from now on. So yeah, so maybe we do not have some background of some PRs or issues, so we can discuss some things in details. Yeah, thank you.
Cool. Thank you. Nice. Have a nice day. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice
Thank you.
day.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.